So expect a lot of shock and surprise as wise, educated young people reject the boomer and older Xer men who think they run things. They don't realize how brittle their current situation is. They face a shortage of educated men who think the way they think. They face a shortage of women who are willing to work in environments created by tech bros. Technology is often a winner-take-all proposition, and not having access to the biggest talent pool, which is likely to contain the best talent, means you lose.
Even if you have decades of great business experience, your mirror is not a crystal ball. Silicon Valley has been referred to as a mirrortocracy, not a meritocracy. This refers to how remarkably everybody seems to appear the same, not just in their looks, their background as well. It's male, pale, and wealthy, with a few Asians in there, and a peppering of women. Also almost always white and Asian. And the women only get to the top when it's time for a glass cliff moment. Look at my other videos for that. One of my favorite articles on the meritocracy is called Inside the Meritocracy by Carlos Bueno, where he talks about his experience in Silicon Valley. And he says the problem with gathering a bunch of logically oriented young males together and encouraging them to construct a culture gauntlet has nothing to do with their logic, youth, or maleness. The problem is that all cliques are self-reinforcing. There's no way to recalibrate once the insiders have convinced themselves of their greatness. Let's talk about a tech giant that already fell because of this. Edwin Land invented the Polaroid. Revolutionary for its time. The technology needed to do that was amazing. He invented a bunch of other stuff that was great too. This was in like the 80s. He was thriving. He ran the Polaroid company. But as we shifted more towards digital in the 90s, he refused to hear any dissenting opinions on that it was time to learn how to shift to the digital age. He openly said that there would never exist a time when people would not want printed photos as top tier, that would be the first preference always. He ostracized anybody who disagreed with him, and this is a big mistake because minority viewpoints are important, even if they are incorrect. Having a small group of people with a different experience or who disagree with you is vital because even if they're wrong, they challenge you to look at something in a different way. And just that process can keep you from making a poor decision. And this is challenging because in my research on the unwritten rules of work for people from low-income backgrounds, I have uncovered some of the unwritten rules are compliance and not disagreeing, deferring to hierarchy, and schmoozing, kissing ass. The irony is another unwritten rule is the shift to individualism and individualistic values, and that includes the value of competition. But in this case, doing so without also valuing teamwork and collaboration and opposing viewpoints, that was the fall for this tech giant. He invested millions of dollars into creating a video recorder that could only last a few minutes, which could not compete with other camcorders already on the market that could hold hours worth of content. He was ousted by his board from his own company, and the company crumbled because it was not prepared to shift to the digital age, even though several other tech partners had tried to couple with him to invent something to shift into the digital age. The unwritten rules of your company are written by the people in power. If everyone is the same and no other input is included, your unwritten rules will create more than blind spots. They will create full-on blinders. So bring in outsiders. Examine your unwritten rules. You will have to make changes. Sure, you won't be the king of the castle, but you will have the night vision to get through some dark times. Like change, which always feels dark but inevitably ends.